So I remember one of my students at IED Barcelona asking me, why would I need a personal brand? Shouldn't people hire me for the quality of my work, not for some brand I created? Now I know where she was coming from, but here's the thing, especially when you're in a crowded market, not working on your personal brand is like you're swimming in an ocean full of talented professionals. Sure, your work might be excellent, but you're kind of like a diamond at the bottom of the ocean, valuable but unseen. Whether you realize it or not, you actually already have a brand. That's right. Your brand is not a fancy logo or a sleek website. It's the mark that you leave in people's minds. The impression that stays long after you've left the room. Now, personal branding is about grabbing the reins of that impression instead of letting it all just happen randomly. And I know you might be wondering, isn't this all about Instagram and celebrities? Not at all. It's time for a brief history on personal branding. Let's rewind a bit. It's the 90s. The time of grunge music, the fall of the German Wall, the rise of the global economy, and you've guessed it,
the internet.
Blogging culture came to be, and Gen Xers who grew up during the economic downturn were driven to stand out and succeed. Later, the same Gen Xers would experience a boost of opportunity during the so-called dot-com boom. A time when it seemed like anyone could become successful by starting an online business. And this is what you could call today the first wave of personal branding in the digital age. But that wasn't all. Fast forward to the early 2000s, where two major events would start to change consumer behavior forever: the 2008 recession and the rise of social media. As people started distrusting big companies, millennials began to doubt the promises of these large corporations. Their solution? They put their faith in people. And while we tend to think about all the Kimmies of the world, the rise of social media wasn't just a playground for narcissists. It blew the doors wide open for niches and micro markets hungry for authenticity, good content, and new business models. But enough of the history lesson. The big question is, how can you leverage this shift for yourself and your business? Before we start, I want you to meet Anne. Anne left her boring corporate job with rigid boundaries, terrible coffee, and that horrible boss. Because she's about to embark on the most exciting journey of her life, starting her own business. And just like everyone in her position, she senses infinite possibilities stretching out right in front of her. But as she's about to step on the gas, it just hits her. Where the am I going? So Anne has that shiny new vehicle called entrepreneurship revving right under her. The thing is, without a clear direction, she might end up lost, or worse, right back where she started. And this is where brand archetypes can serve as your GPS. They can not only guide you in attracting the right clients, but also in building a business you're actually proud of. Because look, building a brand is not just about choosing some colors and some catchy taglines. It's about understanding your values, strengths, weaknesses, and what sets you apart from your competition. Remember, people buy from people. Your business is more than a product or a service. It's a living, breathing entity with a personality, a voice, and a purpose. So by identifying your brand archetype, you're not just slapping a label onto your business. You're building its DNA, forming its character, and setting its direction. Okay, so first things first, you gotta grasp the concept of a brand archetype. So basically, brand archetypes are a combination of personality traits you can showcase within your brand to differentiate yourself from your competition and attract the right customers. When you promote your business, you could, for example, express parts of the jester, who is all about being lighthearted and fun, or the lover, who's all about desire and connection, or the ruler, where you display a lot of authority in your communication. Now, what's important to take away here, when you're building your personal brand, this is not something you can just pluck off a shelf and wear like a Halloween costume. It has to be rooted within who you are. There are actually 12 brand archetypes you can identify with, and yes, it's completely common to resonate with more than one. It's these brand archetypes that will help your audience relate, connect, and understand your personal brand and business on a deeper level. Now don't worry, if you want to dive deeper into each archetype, there's a full playlist describing all 12 right here. Check them out and let me know which one you resonate most with. Now, to identify your archetype, you want to start asking yourself these questions. What do I want to achieve with my work on a higher level? See, most people are drawn to the answer, making a profit. But if you're like Anne, there's probably something more that's driving you. Write that answer down. And heads up, at the beginning, you will find answers like, I want to make money and travel the world. Got it. I want to scale my income. Got it. I want to get away from my horrible boss. Understood. These are all valid, but they won't help you promote yourself and your business. Plus, external motivations are never the right drivers, especially when you work for your own. So my suggestion here, write that stuff down, get it out of your system, and then start focusing on what do I want to achieve for my customers and ultimately the world. Sounds big, right? But it'll help you understand which archetype you'll fall under. And the second question you want to focus on is, who is your audience and what do you want them to feel when they interact with your brand? Remember, you're not just selling a service or a product, you're selling an experience, an emotion. That's the stuff that stays with people, that's the stuff that will set you apart, and that's the stuff that will make people come back. So take a moment, write down your thoughts. Do you want people to feel excitement, curiosity, or empowerment? This is 100% your call. We're all about big thoughts today. Write them all out. And remember, there are no right or wrong answers. This phase of self-reflection is key. It's about knowing who you are before you go out there and share it with the world. And that also includes being aware of your strengths and weaknesses, acknowledging what sets you apart, and understanding what makes you you. Okay, now that you identified your destination and you packed down your brand archetype, it's time to punch in that destination into your GPS. And your brand messaging is just that. It's that input directing your brand towards its intended audience. It has to be aligned with your archetype. Because imagine you pack down your archetype as a creator, but your messaging reeks of corporate jargon. Or let me give you a better example. You know how everything kind of looks the same on Instagram these days? This can lead to big mix-ups. Imagine a coach having a strong, non-bullshit, straightforward kind of style. But on their social media, they're all about positive affirmations and sweet quotes. It's more than just strange. It can really mess up your customers' trust. Folks see warm and uplifting posts, decide to sign up, and then they get shocked by this tough-as-nails coach. It's like your GPS brought you to a swamp when you wanted to go to the beach. What's really important here is to use your brand archetype like a North Star and make every bit of communication resonate with your core persona. Okay, so you mapped your route and you set your GPS. Now it's time to choose the right vehicle. We slightly touched upon that with messaging. We're going to talk about the content and the visuals that will help your brand move your business from A to B. Now be aware that this is where most people want to get started when marketing their business. Many believe that this is about picking a logo or a color palette or writing up a few blog posts or creating content that makes us look good. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that we all want to look good. But building a brand is not a one-way street. It's building a relationship. Depending on which archetype you resonate most with, you'll have to decide on how you're going to deliver value to your audience. I'll give you a few examples. Will you be sharing about your life? Or spark debates and stir up controversy? Or help others find truth and clarity? Or are you going to test new concepts and report back to your audience? Now, these were only a few examples, but whatever it is you find suitable for your brand, your visual style, may it be logo, imagery, or color palette, should always support your messaging strategy, okay? Let's start with our first example. Brené Brown. Brené Brown is a researcher, storyteller, and podcaster who spent the past 2 decades studying courage, vulnerability, shame, and empathy. She's also the author of 6 #1 New York Times bestsellers. Now, in her quality as a researcher, Brown displays traits of the wise teacher, sharing insights about human behavior. She takes complex emotions, unravels them, and shares her wisdom wrapped in heartwarming stories. But what she also does is she positions herself as our guide on an adventure of emotional discovery, daring to go places most of us are afraid of, really. And with that, we can also recognize parts of the explorer archetype reflected in her personal brand. And now let's continue with another author, television host, and speaker, Mel Robbins. Now, there are also a few brand archetypes that we can recognize here. She's all about truth and cutting through the noise and helping folks uncover real insights to live a better life, which again, all points to the sage archetype. But see, Robbins is also someone known to always keep it real and not being afraid to share about her trials and tribulations. And that actually makes her feel like a friend you'd bump into at a local coffee shop. And that would be the girl next door, or the regular girl in her, who's all about connecting on an equal and genuine level. So as you can see with all the examples we've walked through today, this is not about boxing yourself in or pretending to be someone you're not or selling yourself. It's about knowing and expressing what makes you, well, unique. Hey, and if you find these videos helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so the algorithm shows it to more people like you.